Hello, 8th graders. This video is to help you with the September 18th assignment from Mr. Carlander. You're working on questions about Earth's timeline. Eventually, you're going to turn these several assignments that have questions into a timeline of when Earth began. But for today, these questions were a little more difficult than the first ones. I just wanted to go over how we would do this. Where I got my sources from, kind of give you a model as we go forward. So let's look at the questions. I'm going to tell you right now that for number 1 and 2, I use the website space.com. All right, I'm going to put that right here. You need to have sources for all of these questions. That's something you're going to need to get used to in 8th grade science. Also, do not use Wikipedia. I cannot stress it enough. It will not do you any help, and I really, really, really mean that. It will get you in trouble in high school, and it will get you in trouble in college, so heed my advice. Okay, let's look at number 1, the formation of the planets. So, what is the common theory for how the planets formed? I'm going to write some bullets here for you, but it might be helpful for you to turn this into your own words and write your own sentences. So from space.com, our solar system was formed when gravity pulled a cloud of dust and gas together. So gravity pulled dust and gas together. Remember, gravity is the force that keeps us on the Earth's ground instead of floating away. Solar system used to be called a solar nebula. That's when it was made of dust and gas, but these materials collapsed with the gravity, and the sun formed at the center. Materials collapsed. And then I'm going to just draw a little arrow up here. Sun formed at center. Now remember, you should be listening to my words and writing answers as best you can. You guys are going to get to know me well this year, and you're going to see that my handwriting is quite terrible. So it's important that you listen to what I say, especially when I'm trying to write with this Apple pencil. I wish it was a little more pointy. So that's how the planets formed. Gravity collapsed dust and gas, and then a solar system was born. But within that solar system are different types of planets. We have rocky planets and we have gas planets, right? Rocky and gas. So let's talk about this. This is also information that I got from space.com. After the sun was formed from that cloud of dust and gas, it started to rise, and all of the other materials that were left in the atmosphere were pulled together, again, the gravity working, and then solar winds blew some of those gases away, mostly hydrogen and helium, and then there were only rocks left. These rocks eventually formed together to become the rocky or terrestrial planets. So how can we put this? Let's take some notes on this. The rocky planets, let's see, solar winds blew gases away, rocks left, formed planets, because the gravity pushed it all together. So that gas that had, blown away by those solar winds, because it's lighter, so it was able to blow. These lighter elements eventually formed together This is part of the reason why those big gas planets are so much further away. Those winds blew that way out there into the atmosphere, and that's how those planets started to form. So remember, gravity has a play in both of these situations, but works in different ways. Wow, I have to say, my writing is abysmal right now, guys. I need to get back into practice. All right, let's look at number 3. Lovely school bell, because I am at school right now. Number 3 says, what was early Earth like? And I think we kind of talked about this in the first set of questions, but I'm just going to remind you that this is from, my information is from lumenlearning.com for numbers 3 and 4. So early Earth, think about it. Before the dinosaurs, we're talking 4 billion years ago, we're looking at an Earth that's covered in volcanoes, lots of magma, frequently hit by meteors and asteroids. So it was like a fiery planet. Life could not be sustained. It was made up of mostly water vapor. And very little oxygen, so therefore life would not live on Earth at this time. That is why it took 4 billion years for us to get people up in this planet. When do scientists think the planet formed? Number 4 right here. That would be, like I just said, about 4.5 billion years ago. Do they know that exactly? No. It would be hard to get an exact number on that, but that's their estimate. All right, we're looking at the second part now, and this has to do with the heavy bombardment period. So if I was going to bombard somebody, I might be running into them, hitting them. You can bombard somebody with questions. That would mean asking them a million questions right in a row. You know, like, where do you live? What do you do? Who are your parents? All like just right in a row. I could be bombarding you with questions. But the Earth was bombarded, and other planets. And how do we know that this occurred? Well, from nature.com, put that up here for you. What do we have on the moon? And in some places on Earth, if you were in class with Mr. Carlander this week, you would have seen maybe some pictures of this. We have lots of craters. Those craters are evidence that this Earth and other planets were hit with things from the atmosphere and space. So evidence, craters. So besides the craters, do we think this is still occurring? Now, I had a hard time finding if it was still going on anywhere, but I had to think about it logically for a minute and realize that I live here on Earth and I don't see asteroids and meteors. I don't hear about a lot of things hitting the Earth from the sky, from space. So I would say that it's likely not occurring, because if so, we would be hit by more stuff. That is something where I could be off on that, and I'm hoping Mr. Carlander will give us more information on that in class. All right, let's look at the last question. When did heavy bombardment begin and end in our solar system? So this information is also from space.com, and it started about 4.5 billion years ago, and it lasted until about 3.8 billion years ago. That means if I did 4.5 minus 3.8, it would be about 700 million years. Yes, those are millions. So that's an incredibly long time. That's way longer than we've had life on this planet. It's pretty crazy to think that this period of things flying around in space, hitting the planet, causing the world to change to what we know it now, took 700 million years. All right, 8th graders, that is it for this assignment, but make sure you're keeping all of your papers together. We will do a timeline of all of these events eventually. And remember, we're going to be starting 4.5 billion years ago, so it's going to take a little effort. We're going to have to figure out a good scale to use. All right, guys, for those of you, I will see Thursday. I look forward to seeing you Thursday. For those of you at home, I hope you're doing well. And I'm here if you need me. Talk to you soon.